Alright, let's jump into a gaming controversy that stirs passionate discussions. The question of whether Neverwinter falls into the realm of pay to win. Roll it. Greetings fellow gamers. Like, subscribe, become a member, suck my... You know what it is. Lately, my comment section has become a mini battleground for the infamous pay-to-win debate. As many of you are aware, there's no leveling up in this conversation. It's a clash of beliefs, each player guarding their definition of what truly constitutes pay-to-win in games. It's a very touchy subject, one that can turn even the most calm players into keyboard warriors. Wielding arguments like swords and occasionally diving into the toxic depths of unreasonable discourse. So what's your take on this heated discussion in the gaming realm? Is Neverwinter pay to win or not? And if so, what is your definition of pay to win? So get ready, my favorite window lickers of all time, because I'm about to drop my take on the hotly debated pay to win topic, and I'm sure I'll be met with a storm of opinions in the comments.
I know I'm controversy at its finest, and you'll probably go and nitpick the shit out of my silence.
Regardless of the inevitable chaos, I'll strive to break down what truly defines pay to win, especially when it comes to Neverwinter. I pledge to be unbiased, hoping we can find common ground and agree on the battlefield of opinions. And if not, well then you can all virtually pucker up and kiss my sexy Greek ass, because, in my humble or not so humble opinion, I'm right, and the rest of you are just in the wrong.
And my tiny little nipples went to France.
Let the banter begin. So let's begin by breaking down why the pay-to-win topic is so sensitive among gamers. The pay-to-win topic in games is sensitive because it touches on several key aspects that players value. One of them is fairness. Players want to feel that the game is fair and that success is determined by skill, strategy, or time invested rather than the amount of money spent. Pay-to-win models can undermine this sense of fairness. Then we have inclusivity. Games are often seen as a level playing field where everyone, regardless of financial means, can participate and compete. When real money becomes a significant factor in success, it can create a divide between players based on their willingness or ability to spend money. Then we have player experience. Pay-to-win models can negatively impact the overall experience for non-paying players. It might feel frustrating or demotivating if others can simply buy the way to success, diminishing the sense of accomplishment for those who prefer to earn their progress through effort and skill. Then there's trust. The relationship between players and game developers relies on trust. When players feel the game is more focused on monetization than providing a fair and enjoyable experience, it can erode that trust and lead to a negative perception of the game and its developers. And then there's community dynamics. Pay-to-win models can create a divisive community where resentment and frustration grow among players. This can harm the social aspect of gaming, making it less enjoyable for everyone involved. So in summary, the sensitivity around pay-to-win in games is rooted in the desire for fairness, inclusivity, a positive player experience, trust in developers, and maintaining healthy community dynamics. When these elements are compromised, it can lead to strong reactions and discussions within the gaming community. That being said, what is pay-to-win? The universal definition of pay-to-win in gaming refers to a situation where spending real money provides a significant advantage or accelerates progress in a way that gives paying players an edge over non-paying ones. It implies that success in the game is heavily influenced by the amount of money a player is willing to spend rather than their skill, time invested, or strategic abilities. The term can encompass various elements, such as purchasing powerful in-game items, shortcuts, or advantages that non-paying players might find challenging to attain. Oh, and by the way, while I was recording this video in Protector's Enclave, you know, where you see the whole Halloween background, I got a surprise message from Steamroller, and he seems to really enjoy my unfiltered and unapologetic videos. You can see the conversation here on the left, and before any of you snowflakes start saying things like, oh, you're exposing Steamroller's DMs, I literally just asked him on the left side here, and he said I could show it, so I'm showing it, so you can't say anything about that. And he's nobody special except, you know, maybe one of the best damage dealers to ever play the game. You know, the type of guy that attacks a boss in a trial, and the bosses in the next 3 trials that haven't even been played yet are already dead. Just thought I'd mention that since he popped up on my screen while I was recording. As you can see, the definition of pay to win is intentionally broad, covering a range of interpretations and scenarios. It encompasses situations where spending money provides advantages that significantly impact gameplay, progression, or competition. Whether it's acquiring powerful items, unlocking shortcuts, or gaining any form of advantage, the core idea is that monetary investment plays a substantial role in achieving success within the game. The broadness of the definition itself allows it to apply to various gaming contexts and practices. This broadness of the pay-to-win concept often leads to disagreements among players. Different individuals may have varying interpretations of what constitutes a significant advantage or an unfair influence due to real money spending. Some players might be more accepting of certain monetization practices, considering them to be reasonable, while others may see even minor advantages as crossing the line into the pay-to-win territory. The subjective nature of these interpretations, coupled with varying player preferences and expectations, contributes to the ongoing debates and disagreements within the gaming community regarding what qualifies as pay-to-win. That being said, the perception of what constitutes pay-to-win can vary among players. They can also vary among influencers as well. But here are some common examples that people often consider paying to win. The purchase of powerful items. Buying items that significantly enhance a player's abilities or power, giving them a clear advantage over non-paying players. Then there's exclusive access to content. Paying for access to exclusive content or areas that provide unique benefits or rewards not easily attainable through regular gameplay. Then we have time-saving purchases. Acquiring items or boosts that expedite progress or reduce waiting times, allowing players to reach goals faster than those who don't spend money. Then we have premium currency for advantages. Using premium currency to gain advantages such as experience boosts, faster resource gathering, or increased drop rates. And we also have skip mechanisms. Paying to bypass challenging segments or levels, essentially skipping or completing content that non-paying players must engage with and overcome. And there might be additional examples that escape my mind right now, but this pretty much covers the fundamental aspects of what many consider as pay-to-win elements in various gaming contexts. Now that we've explored the multifaceted nature of pay-to-win and the reasons behind its touchy nature, let's navigate through the intricacies of whether any of these dynamics apply to Neverwinter. The waters get a bit murky here because in Neverwinter things aren't really black or white. They tend to take on a slightly peculiar hue. Here's a quick rundown of some, not all, of the items available for purchase with Zen in Neverwinter, designed, to accelerate your progression. You got coalescent motes, mythic insignia packs, companion and mount upgrade packs, 30k character boosts, some packs featuring widely used artifacts. Sometimes those artifacts can be best in slot, campaign buyouts, occasional bundles for mythic mounts and companions, occasional bundles for shards of empowerment, occasionally exclusive best in slot companions like in the past we had Zuna, although for a limited time before adjustments are made, aka nerfs. Over the course of Neverwinter's 10-year history, there have been additional items that most likely slip my mind. However, as you likely observed, nearly all these items, despite their availability in the cash shop, can also be procured from the auction house itself. Notably, Neverwinter avoids selling high-end, best-in-slot weapons or gear that could grant advantages directly in the Zen store. It also doesn't sell unique weapons or gear or even items that can give you an advantage that can be only obtained from the cash shop and nowhere else. And even that mythic insignia pack up there only has a chance of giving a mythic insignia. Most openings will give only an epic one or a legendary one, but the chance to get a mythic one still remains. Weapons and gear crucial for your character's performance are exclusively earned in-game, and some can be acquired through the auction house, particularly those crafted by master crafters. But the important thing here is that gaining advantages in your character's armory cannot be achieved through purchasing. Every piece must be earned through trials, campaigns, dungeons, or the specific processes outlined in each expansion. In summary, given the information above, and if your definition of pay to win includes the ability to buy the best gear and weapons, then in this context, Neverwinter is not considered pay to win. It's crucial to acknowledge that some players define pay to win quite literally. For them, it means that spending money equates to an immediate and overwhelming advantage over non-paying players, which basically means like dealing more damage and stuff. This scenario can be true in certain games, but it's not the case in Neverwinter. Unlike other games, Neverwinter doesn't lock behind a paywall unique, overpowered items that are unattainable otherwise. In this game, the significance of our gear and builds is undeniable, but skill plays an even more substantial role. Even if one were to acquire the best gear in a single day, it doesn't guarantee superior performance. Effectiveness in gameplay hinges on both gear and player skill, and although splashing the cash can get you a big chunk of progress fast, it is only a temporary advantage, because our hypothetical free-to-play players can catch up in a few months. And as mentioned earlier, there are different perspectives on what falls under the umbrella of pay to win. Some firmly believe that any item purchased through the cash shop, regardless of whether it directly boosts damage output or not, qualifies as pay to win. This is often dubbed as pay for convenience or pay to progress faster. The rationale behind this belief is that paying players can circumvent the usual and necessary processes required to reach specific game levels by purchasing items outright, and then they save time and effort. A good example of this can be campaign buyouts. Certain campaigns, which might take a month or longer to complete, can be expedited by purchasing the buyout from the Zen store with a simple click of a button, immediately gaining any associated benefits and bypassing the lengthy grind.
Y'all bitches!
The other aspect of that is Genie's Gifts, which can be traded for campaign currency to progress the campaign instead of doing the grind to earn it, and which are scattered liberally through the game via various reward streams to be used or sold on the auction house without a dime of real-life money being involved. An even more compelling example is the greater shards of empowerment. While they might not always be directly available in the Zen store, when offered in bundles of 10, 15, or any other amount, players can significantly expedite their progress. Typically challenging to acquire shards occasionally drop in dungeons or trials, and players can receive one per day from Reaper's challenges. If one were to rely solely on daily drops, obtaining the 50 or 100 or 150 shards for an upgrade could take as long as 100 or 150 days. However, by purchasing some of them available in the Zen store, players can obtain some shards and quicken the process. This ultimately leads to strengthening your callers, and consequently, regardless of skill, enhances your character to a certain extent faster than someone who doesn't spend money. But those free-to-play players will still catch up eventually. Even if you find the Shards of Empowerment example unconvincing, let's consider coalescent motes. While obtainable through various means such as the auction house, battle passes, occasional drops, invoking, and even the Wondrous Bazaar on some sale, someone could roleplay as a whale and simply purchase tons of them from the Zen store.
Pods of sperm whales sleep vertically in the water column.
Told you I was crazy.
Picture this scenario. We both started playing today. We reached level 20 and are on equal footing. However, I decide to invest money to swiftly max out my enchantments in the game. I spend hundreds of dollars acquiring 15, 20, 30, or even 50 coalescent motes, and soon all my enchantments will be at mythic level, leaving you trailing behind until the point comes when our free-to-play person catches up again. The perception of pay to win is evident because progressing faster through monetary investment can create a disadvantage for those who don't spend money, thus establishing an advantage for the paying player. In gaming, advantages can extend beyond dealing more damage, tanking, or healing better. It also includes reaching certain levels faster, irrespective of skill or strength. This is a valid concern. If it takes me months to acquire 30 coalescent motes and you can do it in 1 minute with a purchase, that is indeed unfair. Even if the cash shop didn't offer coalescent motes, there's another avenue catering to whales that can be considered pay to win, and that's the Zen exchange. Regardless of any backlog, there's no delay when converting Zen into Astral Diamonds. The backlog only applies when converting Astral Diamonds into Zen,
etc.
In essence, even if the cash shop had 0 coalescent motes, you could still progress faster with real money by buying Zen and then converting it to Astral Diamonds, and then purchasing all the necessary items through the auction house. And this is where it gets a bit tricky again, because using the Zen exchange puts Zen in the hands of free-to-play players as well, enabling them to buy exactly the same things that you bought with Zen as a pay-to-win player. It will just take the free-to-play player longer to acquire, but acquire them they will. The same principle applies to many other items found in the auction house. You can entirely bypass purchasing coalescent motes and instead instantly acquire all the mythic enchantments, upgrading reagents, best artifacts, shards of empowerment, or any other desired item with a simple transaction. It only takes 1 credit card and 1 minute of your time. Even if the Zen store removed every item that aids in faster progression, the ability to convert real money into in-game currency remains, allowing players to buy everything available in the auction house instead. And again, while it does take much longer, this area is where free-to free-to-play players can clean up by selling unbound items or enchantments that they leveled up to Mythic with mats earned by in-game means, and then get a bump to their Astral Diamonds to spend as they please in-game. Another valid argument raised by players is how the game can't be considered pay to win if everything is attainable through grinding. Even if certain items are in the Zen store, players can still convert hard-earned Astral Diamonds from grinding into Zen, eliminating the need to spend real cash. This is indeed true. You can avoid using real money and acquire everything in the Zen store by converting Astral Diamonds to Zen. However, it doesn't negate the fact that some players might choose to bypass that process entirely by saying screw it and purchase everything outright. As long as different and quicker avenues to obtain items are available, there will always be a perceived pay to win or pay to progress faster element in players' perceptions. So, after all this, what is the conclusion here? Is Neverwinter pay to win or not? Is it pay for convenience or even pay to progress faster? Let's just say yes and no. There will always be players who, for their own reasons, choose to spend time instead of money. Likewise, there will always be players who consider the cost in real life money or some shortcuts worth every penny so they can spend their time only on things that they find most fun. Now, here's the really important bit. Neither way is inherently wrong, and neither way makes the player in question a better player. Ultimately, the definition of what constitutes pay to win boils down to personal perspective. While there's a valid general definition, each person's viewpoint is unique, leading to varied opinions on this subject. Disagreements are inevitable, and that's perfectly fine. After all, we all know I'm right, and if you agree with me, you're right too. Unless, of course, I happen to be wrong, but even when I'm wrong, I'm still right. Especially when I admit I'm wrong, but even then, I'm right about being wrong, right?
I see shit that you don't, motherfucker. Finna light 3 clips through your dome, motherfucker.
And you know me, I love keeping you all on the edge of your seats, so battle it out in the comments and please keep it respectful. Don't make me come down there with my mighty and give you all unwanted enemas. And trust me, I'm Greek. You don't want that.